Let's we start with section 2 of the Contract Act 1872. What it says, its first it starts says that about interpretation clause. Interpretation clause, what is mean and what it say? It simply says here the huge description is written, and I am also I this description is very little anywhere in commentary books or anywhere else. You will see that on Google especially, and on Google especially, or whatever where you are searching and watching, they will say that huge description, interpretation clause, whatever. But simply interpretation clause, what it says that all the things written in this act, in this section, in this subsections, or in this section, all the things will be in the same context in the whole act. All the things which are we are discussing here will be used in the same context in the whole act. That is true and very and quite simple thing about which is we call interpretation clause. Watch what things which we are using in this clause will be used in the same context in the whole act. So let we start with the clause A of the section 2 of the Contract Act 1872. What clause A says? Proposal. What it means? It show the willingness to anybody, to show the willingness to anybody. If I want anything from anyone, I just show my willingness. So the proposal is to show your willingness. What promises? Promises offer plus acceptance, or offer and plus acceptance is called promise. What promise? What promiser? Section, sorry, clause C. Clause C. What promisee? What promiser is and what promisee is. Promiser is a person who shows the willingness or present his offer. That is called promiser. While promisee is a person who accepts the offer or accept the willingness of another person. Consideration. Consideration, simply in my words, what consideration is? The clause D, consideration of section 2 of the Contract Act 1872. Reason behind the contract. Consideration is what? Consideration is the reason behind the contract. The next thing, the clause E of the section 2 of the Contract Act 1872. Why I am recalling this is clause E of the section 2 of the Contract Act? Because if you want to get succeed in high competitive exams like civil judge or magistrate or whatsoever, you have to be careful. You have to remember each and every law with its section and clause wise. If you want to be reached somewhere, then you have to remember its laws concern with related with sections and clause and so many things. But if you don't want to do anything, like you just want to study and you just want to be just want to get passed, so I don't think so that this is important for you, that you have to remember. But to study more in deep in detail, that is the thing which we Pakistani persons, we people of Sindh, I think so that we should, because I'm not telling that we are not competent. We are competent, but I think so that we are not trying. I'm not trying, especially I'm not talking about you or anyone else. I'm talking about me. i'm not I'm not trying to be competent. So let's we start. What is clause E of section 2 of the Contract Act 1872? What it says? It says that promise which forms consideration are called agreement. The clause F of the Contract Act 1872. What clause F of the section 2 of the Contract Act 1872? What it said? It says about reciprocal promises. Reciprocal promises, there's a huge description in Mansoor books. What I have written, what I understand from the word reciprocal promises. Reciprocal promises, what does it make for you and what it make for me? What is for you and what is for me. Reciprocal is means a in return of the word. We all know that reciprocal, what the reciprocal means. So the promise here is also concerned with that word, what reciprocal means. So this promises is with concern with the word reciprocal. What does it make for you and what it make for me, that is called reciprocal promise. Okay, now let's we start with the clause H of the section 2 of the Contract Act 1872. What it says, it says the contract enforced by law, oh sorry, agreement enforced by law is called the contract. Okay, so now the second last clause of the clause I of the section 2 of the Contract Act 1872, what it says, what is in it. Voidable contract, contracts that can only be enforced for one party, that party is called the aggrieved party. Simple. If we are going anywhere and a party of criminals, snatched a car from us. So this is about civil and law, so I have to give the example which is concerned with civil law. Simply, someone snatched our property, someone snatched my property. That party who snatched my property, that can't go in court and say that, oh, enforced law and give me justice because I snatched the property of that person. I'm talking about me, so I use me, sorry, but I snatched the property of that person and I want justice whatsoever. How they just go and went court? If they will go, then court will say that you have snatched, then you have to return her property because you have snatched her property. So this is simple, that a contract is not enforced, this contract is not enforced by them. This contract will be enforced for the, what can I say, aggrieved party. Aggrieved party is very, what can I say, that poor, oh my, people used to say a poor girl, so I use the word poor party, or aggrieved party, where aggrieved party, which people used to do. Some people just want to snatched each and everything from that party, I think so. That, but agreed party is so called, we can use poor because to simple understand. So the last clause, clause I of the section 2 of the Contract Act 1872, what it says, it says that it is about void contract. Void contract, what are void contracts? Void contracts are those contracts which cease to be enforced by law, become void. Simple. What it said, it says someone wants to marry with someone. After that, someone just show that I'm going to marry her, but what happened? She dies. So the time when she dies, this contract become void, and this can't be enforceable. And in my deep understanding, what the void contract mean, the void contract mean the contract in the beginning was enforced, can be enforced by law, but when this contract goes in process, when this contract can be executed, both in process and the in execution, that in both cases the contract become unenforceable by law, that contract is called void contract. Thank you so much, guys. Here we are going to the end this lecture, so I hope so that you all will understand that what I'm trying to say and what this section 2 is trying to say too. Have a good day. We will meet you in next lecture, in next lecture, inshallah. Have a good day, guys.